Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the SLDC Board of Directors meeting being held on May 16, 2024 at 8:01 a.m. Can I please have a roll call to bring the meeting to order?
Sure. Director Gilbert.
Here.
Director Arnold. You're muted, sir. Director Arnold.
Here.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
We can't hear you. We see you. Can you give us a thumbs up? All right. So, I'd like to acknowledge Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Alderwoman Kara Spencer.
Here.
Director McBride.
Here.
Director Sean Spencer.
Present.
Director Reed.
Here.
And Chair Richardson.
Present.
We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Thank you, everybody. So the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the April 18th, 2024 regular board meeting that was held via Zoom. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So move. Gilbert.
Do I have a second?
Second.
With a motion and a second, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Director Gilbert.
Aye.
Director Arnold.
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. I think she said aye.
Still can't hear you. She said aye.
Okay, thumbs up. Alderwoman Kara Spencer.
Aye.
Director McBride.
Aye.
Director Sean Spencer. Director Reed.
Aye.
And Chair Richardson.
Aye. With all aye votes, the motion passed to approve the minutes from the April 18th, 2024 regular scheduled board meeting. The first resolution that we have before the board today is resolution number 24, SLDC 936, authorizing amendment to the subrecipient agreement to fund additional personnel and services related to the Stable Communities Program. I'd like to pass it over to our Senior Vice President of Strategic Growth, Mr. Lance Knuckles, for the presentation.
Excuse me, I got a little allergy this morning, so my voice is a little sideways, so please accept my apology. Good morning again. My name is Lance Knuckles. I have the privilege of being the Senior Vice President of Strategic Growth for St. Louis Development Corporation. And today I have the honor of presenting to you resolution number 24, SLDC 936. I want to apologize in this moment. I was in my office with a presentation to provide to you all as a backdrop, but I will provide that information to you all in the email. So that's why I'm sitting in the conference room. My audio is not working on my technology. So with that being said, I'll provide some detailed updates and overview about the program and what it's intended to do. And then again, follow up with some additional information, but I will walk through all this information with you this morning. So again, this is to authorize the amendment to the subrecipient agreement to fund additional personnel and services related to the Stable Communities Program. The Stable Communities Program started back as a pilot in July of 2023 as an initiative to address an allocation or activate the allocation of $13 million to the building division to address privately held buildings that need stabilization and or are presenting a safety issue or a hazard or blight as it relates to how neighborhoods are moving forward. The program in totality is comprised of $13 million. In that program, funds are allocated across 4 specific line items. Those line items represent personnel, technology, specific project execution, which is the work related to projects and stabilization, and then other costs which are related to the administration fees and or filings or other things related to support the activity of the program being filed with the appropriate agencies within the city of St. Louis. And so Our previous budget allocation for this program was to have the subrecipient agreement at $400,000. That allocation was to cover a singular staff person, Ms. Valencia Blake, who has been employed with us, I believe, since July of last year. And in that time, Ms. Valencia, she was hired in June. In June of 2023. And since that time, the program has been moving forward as a pilot. Since then, we've realized, or the program staff has realized, that the program does require additional staff and, more specifically, the technology with STL permits to be modified to ensure that the efforts of this program are being tracked appropriately within that platform and being able to communicate across the agencies who are working to assist in the stabilization of these initiatives. And so the previous $400,000 was only to cover a singular staff person and the related benefits and technology for that individual for the span from the start of the program through December of 2026. The additional allocation of funds that we're modifying with the subrecipient agreement would include 3 personnel. Let me make sure I get to my budget and speak this correctly. It would be 3 personnel. Here we go. The equipment allocation that would support the software upgrade for STL permits, as well as additional technology equipment for new staff. And it would include approximately $100,000 that would include recording fees, property title services, and property appraisals. These resources are actually needed to ensure that the program is executed effectively and efficiently. More specifically, the $13 million allocated to the building division, we have been in partnership with the building division here at SLDC for quite some years, working to address stabilization, but more importantly, historically, how do we address vacant and abandoned properties in conjunction, whether it's demolition and or collaboration on maintenance. So we have had a standing relationship with the building division, and this subrecipient agreement strengthens that relationship to ensure that we can provide support to onboard staff in a fast and effective and efficient way to support this program activation in its totality to move the program forward. To date, the program has worked to address 65 buildings thus far at an expenditure rate of $6,461,311. And that has been invested in projects across the city in varying degrees. As I mentioned, I will follow up with communication. I can't share my screen, but I do have a series of images that I can share with you as a board of directors to understand how and where the impact is happening across the city. We know that there's been significant impact and implication or support in the Hyde Park neighborhood around Hyde Park, where there has been substantial investment through the Prop and S program, which is the stabilization program run by SLDC and LRA that is using bond proceeds to make those strategic investments. This project has been aligned to collaborate and use the program of Stable Communities STL to identify targeted areas and or infrastructure, or not infrastructure, but structures that may be in proximity to other investment. So we're maximizing the block by block strategy that is already being utilized by LRA in partnership with building division and property maintenance as we move forward. And so that's kind of a high level overview of where we are in the program. And this request is to increase the amount of resources being allocated to SLDC to cover the additional staff, the technology, and the supportive resources to ensure that we're able to move the program forward. So again, I will yield the floor and answer any questions. Director Gilbert, I will recognize you as the first person with the question.
Thank you, Lance. The resolution says September of 26. You said December. Is it September or December that this goes through?
So the September 26th is based upon the city's determination to be able to finish and wrap up programs and then allow a 3-month wind down. So technically, the program runs through 12/31 of 26. But as a city, we're looking to ensure that all funds are allocated by September to make sure we have the opportunity to wrap up all reporting and things of that nature in the last quarter of the year.
Okay, and do you anticipate that these will be temporary positions? Because this is a lot of money and a lot of new people, but do you really think we're gonna be able to cut them loose at 26? We're gonna need them.
Oh, at this point in time, I think it's a great question. At this point in time, the program staff, which is identified in the budget, and I can provide it as a follow-up document, it is 3 staff, and then administrative costs for SLDC to operate the relationship, to do payroll and things of that nature. It is currently slated to ensure that these funds and these staff are in temporary positions through the end of 26 as a requirement to be in adherence with personnel law, because the funding source for it is clearly only identified at this moment through the end of 2026. However, we believe this is a program that will be included as a part of our accelerator initiative to be able to raise additional capital to support the continuation of this program moving into the future. So at this moment in time, we do have to comply with personnel and compliance law to have these positions be temporary, but we will be working in collaboration with the building division to explore additional funds to support this program moving forward.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Director Spencer.
Thank you. Was excited to see this resolution when I read it a couple of days ago. I've been in part participating in this and looking at the ways the city's taking more proactive action against privately owned vacant buildings. And I want to make sure that that context is clear for our board, that we're trying to hold these property owners accountable for their properties. And you know, 2 examples in the last year or 2 was the Clemens House and the Melanthropy Immigrant School that we lost, that this program may have helped if we started it a little bit earlier. So I'm very supportive of this. I know we need extra resources and identifying and tracking those properties. And then also that follow-up, I think, with the stabilization and cleaning the lots and just making sure that those properties are still, they look good and that they present in our communities the way that they should. I think that's an important part of the program too. So I'm really excited to see this.
Yes, thank you, Director Spencer. And one thing I would like to add on to Lance's comments in reference to the longevity of this program. The way that the program works is the city and the building division goes out and completes the stabilization in partnership with contractors on these properties. That the work that is then done on the properties is then billed to the owner of those particular facilities. So it is placed on their tax bill, and they're required to pay those expenses that have been expended on those properties. And so as those dollars come back to the city, it is then reinvested back into this program. So the goal is for us to recoup the majority of those costs to continue to reinvest those dollars into hiring more staff or continuing the staff and continuing the program in perpetuity as long as dollars and resources are available. So just wanted to add that one caveat. I want to acknowledge Alderwoman Kara Spencer's hand.
Thank you, Director Richardson. So just for clarity, this contract would be for 1.5 million over the next 2 years. And does that include any of the funds you were just describing as far as those that would go out to actually do the stabilization? Or is this simply for the staff, as Mr. Knuckles was pointing out, the staff and the technology and that sort of thing? Can you remind us where the funds to do the stabilization is, where those are actually coming from? And then secondly, from a budgetary perspective, this is coming into the city as revenue. Are these 3 positions included in this year's budget for the building division? We're going to be handling that in about an hour.
Director Spencer, thank you for those questions. The dollars that are for in the up to 1.5 million, because we're still negotiating some numbers on personnel and a specific position to make sure it's aligned with the market. But the dollars that are included in this is solely for the personnel and the associated expenses related to personnel, the technology expenses, and all the other reporting and filing dollars that are required to keep the program moving. All resources related to the projects, which is roughly about $11,721,000 in total, those funds remain with the building division, whereas they are the entity responsible and tasked to actually pull permits and execute the work. SLDC is in a sub-recipient agreement only to provide, and I say only, but to provide personnel support and capacity to allow us to accelerate the hiring of those individuals and then working to get them working in concert with the building division staff. At this point, I do not know if the building division has actually included these positions in perpetuity in their budget. I can actually reach out to the building division to explore that conversation, Alderwoman. But I think at this moment in time, we've been making sure we address with the current funding source to ensure that we allocate the funds within the program budget allocated with ARPA to do that moving forward. But I'll yield the floor to my director or CEO, Mr. Richardson, if he has any additional thoughts about that at this moment.
Yeah, so Alderwoman Spencer, when SLDC presented before the Budget and Public Employee Committee earlier this week, it was the personnel, the 3 additional FTEs that are temporary to support this program will sit under SLDC's budget for fiscal year 2025. And then the funds that we receive via this subrecipient agreement will go towards paying those individuals. So again, it's funds, that revenue that SLDC will recognize through ARPA from the city through this subrecipient agreement, and then we will use those funds to hire personnel and cover any additional administrative costs associated with those personnel. So those individuals will not show up on the personnel report for the building division as it relates to these 3 positions. However, they may have additional staff to support the overall program to engage with contractors that are going out to execute on the stabilization of this work. And that's a question that you can direct to the building division during your committee meeting and hearing today.
Okay, sorry. So these are going to be staff members of SLDC and not the building division.
Exact. Yes, that's correct. Right. And that's why we are requesting these funds, this 1.5 million, to come to SLDC so we can then onboard them as SLDC staff members. That is correct.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. That's all I have. Thank you, Director.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion to approve resolution number 24-936.
So moved, Spencer, Sean Spencer.
Second, McBride.
Roll call vote, please.
Director Gilbert,
Aye.
Director Arnold,
Aye.
Director McBride,
Aye.
Director Sean Spencer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Kara Spencer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Yes, okay, thumbs up.
She raised her hand.
Okay. Director Reed
Aye.
and Chair Richardson.
Aye. With all aye votes, the motion passed to approve resolution number 24 SLDC 936, excuse me. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 24 SLDC 937. This will authorize and approve a work program and contract with CDA and professional service contract with Interborough Partners LLC for planning and design services related to the Project Connect Our Plan neighborhood planning process. I'll pass it over to our Vice President of Neighborhood Transformation, Mr. Darrell Smith, for the presentation.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Board of Directors. I'm excited to present to you the resolution number 24 SLDC 937, which authorizes and approves a work program contract with the Community Development Administration and Personnel Services contract with Interboro Partners, as stated by our chair. This resolution would authorize SLDC to solicit, the resolution 23 SLDC 913 authorized a SLDC to solicit a qualified firm to provide consulting services to guide the 6 neighborhoods in the city of St. Louis in developing a community-driven neighborhood plans. SLDC posted this RFP for proposal. We posted it April 2nd. We convened an advisory board composed of SLDC staff, staff from the city of St. Louis, Planning and Urban Design Agency, community partners, community members of the NPC meetings to interview 3 responding firms. Each firm was scored with the criteria that was prioritized expertise in urban planning, innovative approaches to project implementation, and effective strategies for community engagement. After reviewing the scores and collecting feedback, an internal SLDC selection committee and SLDC, we made a selection. We presented that selection to the Substantial Awards Committee, recommending entering into a contract with Interboro. The funding for this contract was made available by the 2024 Community Development Block Grant allocated for SLDC by CDA pursuant ordinance 71745. The cost for planning and design services in an amount not to exceed $420,126.98. So that funding will come from there. This is a pursuit to finalize the final phases of planning for the 6 neighborhoods that are adjacent to the NGA project on the north side of the city. And so they've already received planning, consulting planning, but we want to finalize the phases so that we can finalize them and be able to present them to be approved by December 2024. And then those neighborhoods can move into implementation next year. All right, if there are any questions.
Director Gilbert, I'd like to recognize your hand.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I lost my connection there for a minute. So if you've answered this question already, I apologize.
No problem.
You showed that there were 3 responses who responded to this in addition that the committee chose.
Yes, we had 3 respondents.
What other firms responded?
Yes. So we also had, hold on one second. I want to make sure I get the name correct.
And did you comment that this Interboro, are they local? Interboro Partners?
My apologies. So Interboro is not local. They are a firm in New York City. However, they are partnering with KSG, which is a local community engagement consultant. And so KSG will do all of their community engagement.
And I'm not familiar with KSG. I guess were they on do we approve the subrecipients as well, or is it just the overall?
Yeah. So KSG is Key Strategic Group. That's led by their principal is Erica Henderson, and her firm is performing the community engagement, but the more technical information around what goes into the plan to solidify the plan and get it through Planning Commission in order to get it adopted into the strategic land use plan, which is the comprehensive plan for the city of St. Louis, will be mostly performed by Interborough. However, we thought it was important for us to have a local partner to be able to translate the work, that the vision of the community and the technical guidance from Interborough into one complete package that will be shared with the Planning Commission and adopted into the comprehensive plan. Darrell, were you able to locate the other two respondents?
Yes, so we had PGVA,
PGAV.
excuse me. And we had, I haven't been able to find the third one. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties as well. Hold on one second. Chairman Richardson, do you recall?
I don't have it before me right now, Darrell, but I know PGAV and Interborough were kind of the two highest respondents that we had, and we can share that list with this group. But Darrell, do you want to go into more detail around why Interborough was selected? What was the criteria for the selection committee? I know the substantial award committee made up of a member of the mayor's office, the president's office, and as well as the comptroller's office was part of this process to ultimately select this Interborough as the most responsive to this RFP. So maybe going into more detail about the actual criteria and what set Interborough apart from the other two respondents would be helpful information for the board of directors today.
No, absolutely. The third respondent was TrailNet and the Chapman Communication Corp. So I did find that information. The criteria was very rigorous in terms of finding someone who could not only help have high expertise in neighborhood planning, but also in community engagement. The neighborhood planning process has really been community driven. And so we wanted to find a firm that really understood the necessity of allowing the community to really lead the effort. So how do we train in terms of understanding what's the zoning? How does it work? What is the sloop? How does that work? And so giving really some technical training and education to community members so they can really drive these neighborhood plans. And Interborough was able to show high expertise in terms of the technical for planning, but also having a partnership with KSG to do robust community engagement. It was really around the language of building capacity for community to do this work, because we don't just want 6 new neighborhood plans that sit on the shelf. We want to be able to empower the community to move into implementation, to really see change in their neighborhoods. And so Interborough was able to really highlight those, what we were looking for.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
No, Alderwoman Kara Spencer, I see your hand still raised. Do you have a question in regards to this resolution, or was it still raised from the last time?
No, I just raised it. Thank you, Director. I just wanted to voice a bit of a concern because, just recognizing the community engagement component, it's a little disconcerting that we had like local respondents, but we chose an out-of-state firm to lead it. It seems kind of counterintuitive that we wouldn't just go directly with the community engagement that is here. So I just want to voice that concern as far as a contract with an out-of-state lead on community engagement here in the city of St. Louis.
Well, just to clarify, Alderwoman Spencer, KSG is a local firm. They're doing all of the community engagement.
Right, but we're awarding the contract to somebody else to sub out that community engagement. to them. So I'm just voicing a concern about that rather than funding directly a local firm. I just, that would be my concern here.
Sure.
Understood, and concern heard. And, I know that's something that we've been prioritizing through our selection committee process to Alderwoman Kara Spencer. So I want to make sure that, your voice is heard, recognized, and valued as we are making these decisions as well. So I would like to entertain a motion to approve resolution number 24 SLDC 937. Do I have a motion from anyone?
So moved, Spencer, Sean.
Second, McBride, Matt.
Motion and a second. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Director Gilbert, I'll come back there. Director Arnold,
Aye.
I'm losing my audio again.
Director Gilbert. And, okay. Alderwoman Kara.
Aye.
Spencer. Oh, there we go, okay. That was Gilbert, right? Okay. Alderwoman Kara Spencer,
Aye.
Director McBride,
Aye.
Director Sean Spencer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Aye.
Director.
Your sound went out. Sorry, we weren't able to hear you.
Carrie Richardson,
Oh, sorry. We didn't hear you on that one. Sorry, I guess technology is challenged today across all of St. Louis. Appreciate it, everyone. With that, the motion passes to approve resolution number 24 937. The last resolution that we have before you all today is resolution number 24 SLDC 938, authorizing and improving the expenditure of funds for the St. Louis Coalition at the 2024 ICSC conference and development of a downtown retail strategy. So I'll pass it over to Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Initiatives, Mr. Stephen Davis.
Thank you, Chairman Richardson, and good morning to the Board of Directors. As Chairman Richardson mentioned, this resolution approves and authorizes SLDC to engage Greater St. Louis Inc. to further develop and execute our comprehensive retail strategy for downtown and downtown west. To further the development of this downtown retail strategy, SLDC is looking to commit up to and not to exceed $35,000 to the Greater St. Louis Inc. Foundation to continue research into market conditions for successful retail leasing, continue to look at creating new incentive packages to attract retailers to downtown, and again, coordinate St. Louis's presence at the 2024 ICSC or International Council for Shopping Centers. So just a little bit of additional context. This will be our third year having a presence at the ICSC conference, and our second year actually having a booth on the show floor. And we've made significant progress as far as our presence at the trade show. So last year we went down with some pretty strong messaging about downtown and the downtown revitalization investments that we were making and kind of setting the table for retailers. And now this year we actually have tangible incentive programs that we can take to ICSC and market to brokers and retailers to further attract them to downtown. And you may recall from a couple of board meetings ago, we did approve in partnership with Greater St. Louis Inc. 4 new retail incentive programs, from rent backstopping, tenant improvements, sidewalk cafe improvements, and a pop-up program. And I'm pleased to share with the board that that program launched on April 2nd. And in that time, we've had close to 50 applications for those various programs for retailers wanting to relocate to downtown. So it's a strong indicator that there's high interest for retailers in the St. Louis area that are wanting to have a presence in downtown St. Louis. So that is very encouraging, and we look to carry that momentum once again down to the ICSC conference. So with that, I'll pause there for any questions from the board.
Steve, can you give I guess a quick overview of the type of businesses that responded to the retail incentive? Were they food and beverage, to merchandise, or otherwise? Just interested to, share that information with the board.
Yeah, and I don't want to share any names of businesses quite yet because we're not ready
course.
to announce them, but we are currently have 4 that are going through the approval process. But it's been a nice mix of food and beverage that, many on the board and on the call now would recognize. They're kind of that are household names in St. Louis. We have a variety of apparel retailers looking to do pop-ups and take up retail space along Wash Ave downtown. So those are the 2 main groups that we are seeing. And then we've had a couple florists, candle shop, some skincare, some health and wellness retailers. But the main majority has been restaurants, so food and beverage type retailers.
And most of them local or national chains?
By far, most of them are local. So they already have a presence somewhere in the region and are looking to have an additional downtown location.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Steve, for that update. I seen your hand, Director Spencer, Sean Spencer. Did you have a question?
You went right to the question I was going to ask. Just wanted to get some more background on the incentive program we had from a couple months ago and see what their response was. And I just love seeing a focus on downtown at these last several SLDC meetings, and we know the importance of continuing to put some capacity down there.
Yeah, and it will be a continuous, priority for us as we talk about driving economic growth, recognizing that, downtown is one of the engines for economic growth, not just for the city, but for the entire state of Missouri. So we have a duty and a responsibility to put some focus there.
Thank you.
Director McBride.
Good morning. Are we anticipating putting these pop-ups in one singular location? Or are they going to be scattered throughout a downtown area, or has thought been given to that piece of it?
No, that's a good question. We're judging them on case by case basis. I think we really want to line them up with events that are happening downtown. So if there's something happening at Keener Plaza, or like, for example, this Friday, there's the city social along Wash Ave, is lining those pop-ups with other events that are happening so we can kind of guarantee foot traffic for those retailers.
Okay, so it'll be mobile depending on what's happening downtown in conjunction with these pop-ups.
Yep.
Very good, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion to approve resolution number 24 SLDC 938. Can I have a motion for previous roll?
So move McBride, request previous roll.
Second, Clark Hubbard.
Second, with a motion and second for previous roll, are there any objections to previous roll? Abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes to approve resolution number 24 SLDC 938. Okay, that takes us to our open agenda director's report. So the first update I wanted to provide in partnership with our Vice President of Compliance, Ms. Lorna Alexander, is an update on the North St. Louis Small Business and Nonprofit Program. We've made some significant progress since the last board meeting on the overall funding of grants for the North City program, Small Business and Nonprofit Grant Program. First, I want to give an update on the capacity building and technical assistance grants. We have total applicants funded of 81, and those total grants funded to date is $330,500. And so those are dollars that have been expended directly into these businesses. So again, money actually in the bank accounts of these businesses themselves. So starting to grow and accelerate the progress on the capacity building grants. As it relates to stabilization, training, and expansion grants, we had 97 businesses that have been approved to receive $1.455 million, $15,000 each for those 97 businesses. We are currently working to disperse funds to those businesses. We are now undergoing review of the clearance with the license collector and collector of revenue to ensure those businesses have an up-to-date license and are current on their any bills or outstanding expenses they have with the collector of revenue. And once that's verified, grant agreement will be shared and dollars will be dispersed again directly into the accounts of those businesses. So really excited about that process. We are going over 340 applications right now for the remaining allocation, just over 32, I believe, $million or $30 million left remaining that will be awarded to the larger projects for community enhancement and community need grants. Again, reviewing 340 of those applications over the next month, and we will be presenting that information to the SLDC Board of Directors for recommendation for funding on June 20th. Our plan is to actually begin to release the names of the businesses that have been approved and awarded funds. So our website will be updated on developstl.org that will list the name, addresses, and the amount that will be funded for each one of those businesses as a point of transparency. I know that's been a call for the alders of their respective wards. We were not able to share the information publicly until we reviewed and completed our processes. And so being able to share that information so the public can see that projects are being funded, money is being awarded and deposited into the accounts of these businesses across North St. Louis City. Lorna, was there anything additional that you would like to add to my comments?
I think only that, well, good morning, directors, only that we're continuing to do all that we can to ensure that we get the funding to the businesses and work with them in the capacity that they have as far as computer technology. So if we start at the top number with the capacity building grants, we actually have awarded grants to 143 businesses for $630,000. However, and we're making the awards through DocuSign, and 81 applicants submitted completed DocuSigns with correct information, and we're working with the other 60 applicants to get their information correct so that we could fund them. So capacity on the side of the businesses continues to slow the progress down in getting the funds to the community, but we're doing the best that we can. I think that's it.
No, that's great, Lorna. Thank you for that clarification. And again, we just wanted to ensure that as we talk about the total applicants funded, that those 81 businesses have actually received funding in their account. So that's been verified and confirmed. But as Lorna spoke to, we have an additional 60 or so businesses that we were continuing to fund as their information comes in and we're able to clear their information and verify with the license collector and collector of revenue. Any comments or feedback or thoughts on the progress of the program? Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate it, Lorna. Appreciate the update. Okay. We'll go to the next item in open agenda. Just a quick update on the neighborhood transformation town hall meetings that were completed over the last month. I'll pass it over to, again, our Vice President of Neighborhood Transformation, Darrell Smith, for a quick overview.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I'm excited to announce that we've had a tremendous amount of great feedback from community members. We have been hosting our neighborhood transformation town hall meetings all throughout the city of St. Louis in cluster neighborhoods. And we've had a tremendous amount of participants that come out to receive information about our products and services that SLDC provides, but also different opportunities to engage with CDA and PDA and other very specific needs of the community. So when we were in the Bayton area, there's some concerns about safety. And so we had one of the police chiefs to come out, police officers to come out and kind of speak to what are the plans moving forward. It has been a success in terms of what feedback we've gotten from community. They're excited to finally have access to a lot of information that they would otherwise have to get for themselves. And so we are bringing that information to them. I know that we have a video to show you.
Actually, I think we're going to forego the video today, Darrell.
Okay, first time. Okay, thank you so much.
But appreciate it. But again, directors, I just wanted you all to be aware that SLDC is conducting engagement at a level in which we didn't have the capacity to do before. So having the neighborhood managers actually engaging with community members, helping empower them with information and equipping them with information has been great. And answering their questions, whether it ranges from LRA property, the private building stabilization program, to tax incentives. One great story I have is in the town hall we hosted in the Grant Arts Center district. It was great to talk specifically around incentives, and we had a lot of questions around how does tax incentives work, and we were able to articulate the benefits of the incentives and how they drive economic growth and support investment, whether it's into infrastructure or revenue for public safety, for job creation, even for the schools. And it allowed us to have that one-on-one conversation with community rather than them hearing it from other outside parties or through other media outlets. We were able to engage with them directly, hear their concerns, address their concerns, and then being able to follow up on an ongoing basis with those residents, those businesses, those neighborhood organizations is really allowing us to build that trust over time. So really excited about the progress. Again, great work by the neighborhood transformation team for their convening of these meetings, and look forward to partaking in more. I think we've held 10 of them so far, 9 or 10 of them so far, Darrell. And
Yes,
I've been
sir.
part of every one of them, and it's been exciting to be out and engaging community at that level. So thanks again for your hard work. Any comments from the directors? Okay, well, we'll keep this show on the road. The next item I wanted to present today was the digital twin. You all may have heard at the mayor's state of the city and through other outlets, we have officially named the Campus for Economic Mobility, the former Killark Electric site, the Monarch or MLK, the Campus for Economic Mobility. And one of the exciting factors of this is having a digital twin for that area that we now have in place, where we can engage with community residents, businesses, and those neighborhood organizations about what's possible there. So without stealing too much of your thunder, Steve, I'll pass it over to you to explain more about the digital twin, and we can upload the video.
Yeah, no, I think you did a great job describing it. I'm really excited about this project, and what we're going to show you here is just a video, but what I'm more excited about is the actual tool that we'll get to use to lay out the investments outlined in the Economic Justice Action Plan for this specific area in the MLK corridor. So again, we can model different types of developments, art installations, infrastructure, and things like that the community can then interact with in a digital environment and provide feedback. So the applications that something like this can provide are really limitless, and I hope to do more projects like this throughout the city. And it's another, and again, you know, it's another tool that we can show neighborhood transformation and how the investments we're making through the American Rescue Plan Act dollars and other sources of funding can impact positive change in neighborhoods. So I say we roll the video whenever we're ready.
Real quick, right before we roll the video, this is also going to be a great tool for the developer community as well.
Yeah.
So as we receive development proposals specifically for this area, they can actually upload some of their renderings and objects into this actual digital twin and interact with it. And so as we are performing community engagement meetings, the community can see how that project actually impacts their real environment every day. And so as we're evaluating those projects, we can also extrapolate some of the economic benefits, such as the additional foot traffic that will be created, you know, the additional infrastructure costs and impact that will be afforded to the city through these investments. So really excited about, you know, being able to share this, not just with the public and the community, but also being able to use this as a tool through our business retention, expansion, and attraction efforts to be able to show to potential developers and businesses what their projects can look like in the overall development that's coming to an area. So go ahead and roll the video. I'm sorry, I'm really excited about it. I just want to share that additional detail.
Good evening and welcome to the 2024 State of the City Address. This is North St. Louis. We call this a digital twin, a digital model of our city that helps us visualize our bright future for St. Louis through our careful planning and design. Parts of our city have experienced neglect for decades. The old dilapidated buildings and crumbling infrastructure have prevented too many generations of St. Louisans from spreading their wings. New investments from Mayor Jones and her administration are bringing recreational opportunities, improved community space, better mobility, and economic growth to St. Louis. In the past year, construction began at AMIC STL, the Advanced Manufacturing Innovation Center, which will add to our region's strengths in aerospace, biomedical, life and geospatial sciences, among others, and bring focused workforce development to our city. The old Killark Electric site on Martin Luther King Boulevard is getting a new name and a new purpose. This building will become an economic engine for our city and its residents. The future of St. Louis is bright. Learn more at developstlouis.org.
Yeah, and again, great work, Steve, on putting that together. So as we talk about visualizing and being able to showcase what these developments can look like in community, this is exactly the type of tool that we will be able to utilize. We have other cities that have utilized these tools for economic development activity, infrastructure improvements, and other improvements that they've been making and proposing to their to drive economic growth in their areas. So I'm just really excited about, again, this program and initiative. Okay, and then the last item that we had today, I believe, was the special announcement of what's right with the region. You all may have heard the great news from our stellar Northside Economic Empowerment Center. They continue to make history and break ground, and they were presented with an award by Focus St. Louis at the What's Right with the Region event last week, I believe it was. All these days blur together for me. Show the video from the.
My name is Nicole Dotson, and I am
ceremony. So go ahead, Becky and Sarah. It's all yours.
Sorry about that. My computer got out of control there for a second and was playing over top of you.
All good.
Yeah.
My name is Nicole Dotson, and I am the manager for the Northside Economic Empowerment Center that's powered by St. Louis Development Corporation. We are the one-stop shop for our small minority women entrepreneurs who are seeking to either start their business, or if they just got started, or if the business has been in business anywhere from 1 to 3 years. Our goal is to provide them with the tools they need to ensure that not only that their business start, but it remains sustained and that it be successful. The fact that we get to every single day service the community at large and provide them with these resources that are free to them, and to let them know that whatever dreams, goals, or hopes that they had get to come to fruition is exciting to me every single day.
So again, this is amazing work that the Northside Economic Empowerment Center is doing to continue to raise the banner for the overall effort of the Economic Justice Action Plan, and all that they do to support our businesses and residents across the entire city, but specifically located in the Northside Economic Empowerment Center at Sumner High School. With that, are there any other comments or questions from the directors about any of the items on the open report? Okay, so we'll keep moving. The next regular scheduled board meeting is for Thursday, June 20th, 2024, at 8 a.m. Please note that during this board meeting, we will have our budget for fiscal year 2025 being presented and seeking your approval. We will attempt to share the proposed budget well in advance of the meeting to give you all the opportunity to review it, and have a summary page that outlines some of the changes between fiscal year 2024 and 2025. So with that, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move, Gilbert.
Second, Clark Cover. Previous
Motion.
row.
In the second, previous roll. Any objections, abstentions? Hearing none. Thank you all so much. Have a great weekend. SLDC will be a sponsor of the May Day Parade this weekend. So if you all get a chance to join the parade, you'll see SLDC fully represented. So hope to see you all there. If not, see you next month. Thank you.